I never thought I'd be making an undead Koopa before a live Koopa. Welcome back, guys. Today we're making the glowing eyes, withered shell, and crumble to pieces and magically put himself back together, Dry Bones. With all the booze in here, we could definitely use some more bone enemies. So to start, I'll ball up some foil into a small oval, attaching it to a toothpick to begin creating his shell. I'll cover it entirely with black clay, fully smoothing and making it into the general shape of his shell, with the back more peaked and pointed, leaving the front rounded. I'll then place it into a wooden block and set it aside. I rolled out this thin sheet of clay to cut out strips for his belly. I'll attach them on, leaving gaps between each strip to show the dark hollowness inside his bones. Next is the white edge that goes around the middle. And for the actual shell design, I used some gray clay to cut out the pattern of shapes that'll fit on his back, still leaving gaps between each one as I place them on. Since he is dry bones, his shell is withered and has some scratches and chips in it. So I cut them in with my X-Acto and used a brush with black eyeshadow to blend them in. The shell is completed and probably the best shell I've ever made. Now we can move on to the arms and legs. I'll cut out a piece of wire for each one and stick on some gray clay to make the bones, adding a crease between the center of each one so it looks more bone-like. Then I'll slide it off of that wire to shape it, and then place it right back on. I'll also make his little tail. Next, I'll be making his shoes and hands, which I actually had no idea, but they're light blue colored. I kinda just remembered them as gray for some reason. I guess I never paid that much attention. For the glove hands, I like to slice in the fingers and smooth them with silicone tools. Then I can add on the thumb. With the shoes and gloves complete, I'll attach in the bone piece. That's actually all the pieces I need to finish the body, so for the sake of the video, I'll go ahead and bake them so I can assemble it. Now that they're completely solid, we can begin assembling this bag of bones. I'll remove the wires because I just used it to keep the shape while they were baking. I'll also snip off the toothpick and the shell. Before adding everything on, I want to be sure that it'll attach at the right angle, so I'll slice off the ends of everything. Once they're cut at the right angle, I'll glue those pieces on. It can also be really tricky to get him to stand up on his own unless you get the angles just right, but you could also simply attach him to a stand or base. That's the body done. He's starting to look for his head, so let's start making it. I'm gonna start with the bottom of the skull using my ball tool. I'll stretch the clay across it, and when sculpting on these, it's good to lift up every so often to make sure it doesn't get stuck where you can't remove it. Now I'll take it off and crease the front into a point for the bottom of his beak. Then attach it back on to smooth on some fangs. The bottom jaw is complete, so I'll press it onto his body to make sure it fits nicely. And yep, it's looking good. So I'll remove that for now and make the top of his skull. Similar to making Yoshi, I'll stick together two ovals for his eye area, using a smaller ball tool to dome out where I'll add the black. Apparently I forgot it wasn't a Yoshi because I actually needed to smooth the area between his eyes flat. So I had to carefully cover this crease, which I would have done before adding the black. Once the shape is right, I'll stick on his bright yellow eyes. I'm gonna make his beak separately because it'll be easier to shape on a separate ball. I press the tip down, curving it to make it into a point. Then cut out the shape to give him some fangs. I'll take it off and stick on the beak, joining it together by smoothing. added another fang in the back, and lastly, I'll poke in those nose holes on top, adding a little black inside. All that's left is to bake it. So I made a foil ball size the same as my ball tool that I'll transfer the top skull onto. Then bake the top and bottom together. With a little glue, I'll stick on the bottom, then the top. Dry bones is complete. Now we can add dry bones to the Power Up Clay collection. Happy Halloween, everyone! As always, let me know in the comments who I should make next. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.